welcome. We are live, we are live, we are live. Welcome to the Talk Talk Live show, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the delay there. Had a big accident on the 401, but we are back here and we are live, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to angle my camera down on the Instagreasy, but everything is okay on the UBS 2BS. Let me see if I can scan myself in just a little bit. One, two, three. There we go. Perfect. And we are on show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining me here on Talk Talk Live, live on IG and YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Yes, wearing the England kit today because my boys, well, they were in a wild one today against the French, who are my my pseudo boys. Anyways, my guys when all else fails, but them in Brazil, but definitely France when all else fails. So again, wild one today, my boy Bukayo Saka, number 7. If you want to see the kit, there it is. Bang, there it is. Number 1, number 7, number 7. There you go, Bukayo Saka. Hat trick today. First hat trick in for England in I would say what's it 6 7 years I believe. So it was a wild one today. Even though it's basically a vaunted friendly, if anything, but it was a wild one. One of the more spectacular three versus four battle for third in the World Cup in living memory, ladies and gentlemen. And if you miss it, you miss it. I would say go check it out on your UBS, 2BS, or wherever you can on the web. And yeah, it was a fantastic performance. But again, one for the casual, one for the bandwagon soccer fan. Oh my god, I hate that word. Anyways, who wanted to see a high scoring affair. You got it today. You definitely got it today. Something for the American crowd, as they say. So again, they want a high scoring affair. They finally got one in the States. So again, kudos to them. I'm thinking, Infantino, the head of the FIFA, told we need to run the score up. He's not so serious. So we gave him a show. England and France, and kudos to them. Now we can get our boys back and ready for the upcoming season. As you know, my boys Arsenal here, right behind me. They are, we're trying to defend our title. Not exactly great news today as we lost Morgan Rogers in terms of the transfer season, which was a bit of a shock. But yeah, not the nicest of shocks at all. But again, we move on. Hopefully, they make up for this because as they say these days, Mr. Andrea Alberto is on fraud watch. But anyways, we're going to get into this right now, ladies and gentlemen, because this is a bit of a taciturn tone, taciturn setting here, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to get into this right now here on Talk Talk Live, and we're discussing this anomaly. I wouldn't say anomaly. This trend. I wouldn't say well, not trend. This calculation. I'll say that this calculation that as women get larger, men are not are excluded from the sexual marketplace, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, indeed, they are getting further eliminated, and it is a convoluted sort of storyline. But I saw this show with the one and only Fresh and Fit crew and MLD. And they did a show earlier on this week, and they had a few stats to show, and it was mind blowing. It was awe inspiring, and something that Talk Talk Live is only too willing to bring to you. So we're gonna relive that show right now, ladies and gentlemen, in a two-part series. As women growing larger, men are not getting laid, ladies and gentlemen. So it's a bit of a controversial topic, but we're going to get into it here on Talk Talk Live, ladies and gentlemen, because we are not afraid of getting into the facts and stories of intersexual dynamics. So let's get into this right now. We're going to go to the UB's Tubies right now, and the one and only Myron Gaines himself, and MLD. Who's a dating coach, and yeah, it was a fascinating show, and I just happened to pick up fascinating discussion with these three individuals, and yeah, it certainly opened my eyes to what's going on in the dating market as of right now. So let's get into it here on Talk Talk Live, live on IG and YouTube. Just adjusting my camera here on Instagram. Like, subscribe, comment, and road to 1,000 subscribers as I get my earbuds on, and let Myron do the introductions here. Let's get into it here on Talk Talk Live. Thank you very much for joining me here.
We're going to connect a lot of dots for you guys. So if you've been struggling with dating in the West or America specifically, and you kind of had questions, this presentation is going to answer all those questions. It's going to be one of the most comprehensive looks at the landscape when it comes to modern dating. John, can you quickly introduce yourself, and we'll get right into the presentation, bro?
Welcome. What's up, everybody? Guys, thanks for having me here. I'm John from Modern Life Dating, and I'm a dating coach. I've been doing this for about 11 years, and I have an international experience. And, the situation that we have in America with modern dating right now is, quite frankly, one of, it is the worst situation in the modern world. If you want to talk about all 38 developed nations, America is the worst place in the world for men and dating right now. And today's presentation, unfortunately, is a little bit on the black pill side because usually, when I come here, I'm pretty optimistic and positive and stuff. But this data that I've deep dived using multiple AIs, census data, CDC data, GSS surveys, dating surveys, and so much has really shocked me. And I wanted to do a very exclusive breaking report here on the Fresh and Fit podcast because this is the #1 men's podcast in the world. And we just need to comprehensively look at this data and dive right into
on
it.
This since April.
Now, before we get into this fully, I must say to everyone out there that this is specific to the United States. However, this can be correlated throughout the Western world, quite simply, because everybody's on a trend to this. Now, some specs may be a bit higher or lower. You can adjust this to one's country, but with the United States being the barometer of the Western world, you can see where different democracies, G8 nations, are trending, and it is trending downward, especially with regards to birth weight, and also. And also, this is something that needs to be addressed immediately, and I think we have to see about this soon, or else further revolutions and rebellions may begin because of a lack of birth rate and men not having satisfaction with regards to working hard and doing the necessary things in order to achieve a certain life, and they being cast out of the dating / intimacy market. Let's continue.
April.
Yeah, this has been, I've actually just started working on the presentation since April, but I have since realizing this gigantic problem. I have been actually analyzing the market here for over a year, starting in May 2025.
What inspired you to get into this?
I've been doing dating coaching now for 11 years. And one thing I've noticed, I don't know if you guys are noticing this, but I'm getting way more distressed men contacting me. And I've never seen men's mental health and overall disposition on life look so bad in the United States of America, and that made me look into this because at first I thought, oh, this guy's a crybaby, this guy's being a pussy.
And this when you're in Japan, obviously, because guys, he was living in Japan for well over a decade.
Yeah,
you were there from 2012, and then you officially came back in 2025.
Yeah,
so it must have been a huge culture shock to be out the country and come back.
Yeah, because when you're in the pot and it's slowly boiling. You don't jump out of it, right? But I jumped right into a boiling pot of water, and
immediately recognized the difference.
I just can't believe that everybody is thinking this is okay. Like I come here, like I just think everything is just so ass backwards, and it's like I can't believe people are even tolerating living like this because this is a very sick society.
Yeah,
meant.
All right, we're going to move on a
John's
little further in the
It's going to be very
presentation.
informative. This
So let's get into it.
A bunch of studies, stats, government databases, etc. Everything is very well researched. I mean, it took a month to prepare this for you guys, so we put in a lot of work. So make sure to go follow his channel, Modern Life Dating, and without further ado, man, take us through it.
All right, so let's just jump right into it. So this is the truth about what is causing the modern dating crisis for men in America. This is exclusively for American men. So if you're not an American guy and you want to come to America, this should make you not want to come here.
And would it be fair to say that, though you made this explicitly for people from the United States, would it be fair to say that a bunch of this is probably going to bleed over to Australia Canada because they have similar trends?
No, it's when you see the data,
Okay. That's fine.
you're gonna write another book about women.
Okay. Sure. Hey guys, I don't even.
No, I agree. Well, I agree with Myron here in this instance that a lot of these trends are furthering towards Canada, are furthering towards the United Kingdom, Australia, and most of the Western world. And it makes for sobering statistics and viewpoints. So again, I ask you to take this very, very seriously. Quite simply, especially for men in your life, especially for boys in your life, because the trend is never ending until we do something about it. Now, there is something that we are doing about it as of today that is hopefully going to reverse things. But as of now, if that one thing wasn't being done, there's a lot of jeopardy for society in general. Quite simply, let's continue.
Even know all the. I have not seen this PowerPoint myself, guys. So everything here, I don't even know what's in it. So you guys are gonna get it first time like me. So, cool. We'll go. Go ahead, man.
Let's go. All right, so here we go. The truth about what is causing the modern dating crisis for men in America, okay? So let's take a look here real quick and ask the one question. What's going on with men's data in the United States of America? All right. Men ages 22 to 34 with no sex in the last year is 24% of that population. That is basically 1 in 4. Okay. Male virginity ages 22 to 34 has risen from 4% to 10% in the last decade. And 35% of young men have had no sex in the last 3 months, which is crazy. Okay, because young people, that's what they do, is they have sex. That's all they do, right? In a normal society. Okay. Over 60% of men under the age of 30 are single, which is nearly double the rate of women the same age. That's approximately 15 million men. Write that number down, 15 million men, because that number is going to come up later in the presentation as well.
Shocking statistics to begin with here. 1/4 of men haven't had sex in a year. Male virginity is on the rise, up to 10%. 35% of young men had no sex in the past 3 months, and then over 60% of men under 30 are single. Which is stunning, which is absolutely stunning. Because, and I believe that's because, well, yeah, you could factor in career, um, you can factor in, well, obesity levels as well. But the fact of the matter is that men are not are being slowly eliminated from the dating market because a certain percentage of men, the 30% under 30%, the 40% of men out there um, that are single, that are not single, are of a certain demographic, be it the Chads, be it the Tyrones, overwhelmingly Chads, Tyrones, high value men, and those who are still, and men can also be single, and may I add, of having a plethora of women to choose from. So they rather not get into a relationship because they don't need to. Women are at their beck and call. So you have this mixture of men who Chiro's high value men that are single, yet may add have a choice of women, or there are men who are single but they are either high value men, or quite simply are dating many women at the same time. Let's continue.
Okay. So how is this data showing up in the real world? Let's take a look real quick. Let's talk about men versus women on dating apps, okay? So simply,
Shout out to
men's
Bath
median
Go
match
Canada.
rate is 2%. Women's is 41%. Women are 8.4% or 8.4 times more likely to match. And the problem is they're overwhelmed with options. That's the problem that women deal with. They have a sea of men that they're not interested chasing after them, which is also a component of what's really going wrong here in the United States. Above figure came from a simulation built on Tinder behavior data. And men get an average of 7 likes per day if they're lucky. And women on average about 92 likes per day. Can you imagine?
And this has already been studied, and this has already been put to proof by the likes of Wheat Waffles. If you go to the channel Wheat Waffles, you'll understand that he has put this to the test. And for average guys, it is very, very difficult to get matches on any dating app, be it Tinder, be it Bumble, be it Match, be it eHarmony. Very difficult for men to receive matches because of certain few men that reach certain aesthetic demographics, that reach certain employment demographics, are the only ones that really meet matches. A lot of women usually skip through a lot of these men. Now, these are usually Chad Tyrone's high value men, and that's the reason for the low match rate, median match rate on dating apps for men. Where women, they get 41%. Listen, women cannot be stopped. They will always have the lion's share of matches because men are they're desperate to copulate. Let's say that they are desperate to copulate, quite simply. So, you see the stats here on Talk Talk Live, um, and as said here, men average 7 likes per day, women average 92. And believe me, with my fiance, she showed me her matches at one time, and yeah, uh, nowhere near mine. But that is usually the way women usually dominate on dating apps. Let's continue.
If you got 92 likes on a dating app a day, I would have a lot of kids.
That adds up quickly.
Yeah.
That adds up.
That would be great.
Yeah. You'd be such a spoiled brat.
Yeah.
And do remember here that this not only goes for average guys, but this goes for high value men and also famous men. They a famous man will never get the matches of a average to below average girl. There's no doubt about that. Women will always be inundated by suitors and not the other way around. Let's continue.
And that's we cover that later.
Okay.
52% of men get fewer than one match per day. That's half of men on dating apps get less than one match a day. Bills, I think you hit something, buddy.
Oh, you hit some?
I think you did.
I think I was scrolling.
Yeah. A man of average attractiveness is liked by 0.87% of women. That is 1 like per 115 women. And 67 to 76% of Tinder users are men. So the ratio is already terrible just as soon as you download it. And then women pass on 95% of profiles. Men pass on approximately 47%. Okay.
And that is why it's always been said that dating apps are not for men. They simply, it is simply not a man's surroundings. Women are very, very afraid of making even the first move, and even on Bumble hit the skids quite recently. They've had to change their dating app so that they only get Chaz Tyrone, high value men, so they can bring more women out. But for men, dating apps is a dead end. It is a literal dead end. Only the best of the best do make it out there. So unless you're an 8, 9, or 10, unless you're a Chad Tyrone, unless you're a high value man of certain standard, and there are certain dating apps that cater to that, then men aren't winning on dating apps. They're not winning on dating apps at all. There are certain dating apps that sugar daddy sites that only allow certain men of a certain high value to get on there and look for women, and those are moderately successful because again, looks play a part in everything, and different interests of women, different criteria of women also play a part. So that's moderately successful. But for average guys on run of the mill mainstream dating sites, it's a dead end. It's usually dead end. It's nowhere. It doesn't suit men to be on these dating apps at all. Let's continue.
10% of men receive 60% of all likes on Hinge. That's a thing you consistently hound on this channel, is that the top 10% of men are pretty much getting all the attention. The bottom 50% of men split 4.3%. Think about that. 50% of the men just split 4.3% of all the likes. Okay? So, and even the bottom 10% of women outmatch the top 10% of men. That is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And this buys into the fact that I just brought to you of, any sort of celebrity, any sort of rich man, they'll never have the type of hit rate that women do. Never. The bottom 10% of women will always outmatch the top 10% of men. Always, always, always. It's a ladies' game when it comes to dating apps. When it comes to matches such as this, like Hinge, like Bumble, like any of these other dating apps as well, eHarmony, Match, any of them. It is well, that's why men have started to abandon dating apps because quite simply, unless you're a Chad or Tyrone, know that you're good looking and know that you'll always get hits. It's worthless to be on there at all. Let's continue.
The bottom 10%, the fucking Chaniquas, the big blob women, are getting more likes than Chads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you just
I've always said like a regular girl has more access than a celebrity. It's
Yeah.
insane, dude.
It does. It does.
And I love this presentation is now finally quantifying what we've been talking about
Yes.
for years.
Yes. Yeah, and I think this is going to make a lot of men feel vindicated.
Yes.
Because you're not crazy. I've been saying it for years, and it sounds like a meme when I say it, but American women are the bottom of the global barrel, and we're going to prove it here with data. This is irrefutable, and the only way they're going to try and shut us up is through censorship, because facts are facts, and if you can't deal with it, I mean, grow up.
And I think it's important.
And that's part of the reason why I'm bringing it out here and Talk Live, because quite simply, this has got to be talked about. This is a lot of the stuff is been thrown under the rug. It has not been displayed to the public. Again, this is Fresh and Fit, which is the number one men's site in the world, quite simply. And that's the reason why they're banned on YouTube. That's the reason why they're banned on many sites, because they talk about truths that women that feminists do not like and they don't want to speak to, and to expose truths like these will get you banned. Will get you banned as such as Fresh and Fit do, and having the mindset they do of the red pill also will get you banned as well. So again, it's very problematic. This is what the improvising hate, the task force set up by HSI, the Homeland Security Homeland Security Investigations, DHS, Department of Homeland Security in the United States, and also the President of the United States, Joe Biden, had backed in order to eliminate a lot of red pill bloggers such as Fresh and Fit, such as Mediocre Tutorial Reviews, tried to get them off the air because they didn't want these truths exposed, because they know how society's going and they don't want a rebellious male constituency. And a lot of these sites are making men very wary of modern dating and how negative it is at this point in time. Let's continue.
Because now that we've kind of quantified this for you guys, you understand how important it is to have your shit together.
Yes.
Okay.
The game, you can't cruise control on life anymore as a man. Right now in 2026, you have to be locked in or you're going to be locked out. You're going to be stuck in a permanent underclass.
Good
Yeah,
point.
especially where we're going now with the new order.
Yeah.
But also keep in mind, what are men doing now? Paying for box.
Well,
Yes, and I think you have a portion on that too, right?
oh, you're going to see.
Yeah.
You're going to see.
We'll stop interrupting. You go ahead.
No,
sorry.
no, no.
Go ahead.
I love that you guys, because it just shows you guys know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It shows you know
I
exactly
love that
what you're
we
talking
have
about.
numbers here to quantify
Yeah.
this stuff that we've been talking
I'm
about.
seeing it in real time, bro. When I go outside,
Yeah.
in real
But
time.
I also want to be clear too, guys, that don't use this as an excuse like, oh, I can't get girls, because it's like this. The purpose of this presentation is to let you guys know how the odds are stacked against you, and you're going to overcome anyway.
Yeah.
Right. I know this is very blackpilling, but don't give up. And that's why obviously we're going to talk about solutions as well. But I do think it's important that you guys understand the landscape you're in.
Yeah.
So,
All right, let's
maybe give
because
up,
you need to understand the problem
maybe
to fix the problem.
give up your current strategy. 'Cause that shit not gonna work no more.
yeah, Bills, what's your password?
Oh.
We're gonna move
You
forward.
always have the power. The number one problem men do is they chase the wrong women and they give power away to women who don't deserve it and the women who don't like them. The number one problem I would think guys have with dating, the wrong dating strategies in the United States of America, is they're just chasing after women that don't like them.
At all.
And the only thing that women is going to do is going to financially extract as much out of you to level herself up to chase the Chad that she wants.
Absolutely correct. Well said by MLD right there. a lot of ladies see. Well, it's already been studied that I think 30 to 40% of women go out on dates just for a free meal, just to aggrandize themselves. A lot of these ladies take are using cash apps in order to take the money that they've been given and use it on a Chad or Tyrone to try and influence him for free. It is quite a cutthroat society out there, quite simply, ladies and gentlemen, and it cannot be denied that um, that a lot of men are being, taken advantage of, and their true intentions are being, you know, twisted and convoluted to a woman's gain, and it is terrible out there for a lot of men, and this has led to a lot of men being ixnayed and eliminated from the dating market itself. Let's continue.
Yeah, I don't want to jump the gun, but like we said, it's on point. I got a story to tell you, but we'll do it later.
listen,
Yeah.
listen,
No,
we're
we'll
on,
keep
we're
going,
on
yeah.
we're on slide 4 of 111.
So yeah, we'll keep going.
All right.
Yeah. So take a look here. The next point. All right. So let's talk about the male loneliness epidemic. This is connected to the dating problem, right? So American men 15 to 34 are the loneliest young men in the Western world, according to Gallup, right? And men with 0 close friends is up 5 times since the 1990s. Okay, from 3% to 15%. Furthermore, men with 6 close friends collapsed from 55% to 27% in the last 30 years.
Now, again, a lot of this has to do with, I a lot of this has to do with men being a little more insular. They're not going out as much. They're staying in. They're playing. They're playing online. They're doing online gaming, which doesn't get them out into the public. Does not allow them to make friends. If they're going to make any friends, they're going to be online friends. But these are acquaintances. They're not real friends. They're not men who will come to the rescue when they need help. Not people they can count on when in a bind. So a lot of this has to deal with culture. A lot, and the gaming culture that we have right now, and it is really, um, it is really, making a terror of men in terms of their social skills because. Quite simply, they aren't able to talk to people, walk to people. They aren't as gregarious as they used to be. They're not as confident as they used to be, and part of this has to do with dating as well. So the two of these things, men staying home with their phones and or on on gaming channels or their gaming apps is collided with not only that their lack of dating options in public. So a lot of these people are insular, and a lot of people are black pilled, and a lot of these people are simply loners, and that makes a lot of men very defeatist in terms of their outlook and in terms of their testosterone levels as well. Let's continue.
And 25% of men under 35 report feeling lonely frequently. And in 2023, the Surgeon General said loneliness carries a mortality risk equal to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Can you imagine?
Yeah, you know what? And he's right. He's right. Listen, because your being lonely is causes stress. That stress is taxing on your health, and you won't live long with that sort of stress in your mind, with that sort of loneliness on your mind, with that sort of defeatist attitude on your mind as well. I've been privy to this, but luckily, in with family close to me, there's a romantic interest involved here that allows for his life to be considered uplifted. But it could have been so much worse. It could have been so much worse. But luckily, he has a girlfriend that has kept his head up above water and optimistic. However, for a lot of men, this is not the case. And this loneliness epidemic is as serious as 15 cigarettes a day. It's serious as cancer, ladies and gentlemen. To borrow a saying. Let's continue.
Smoking 15 cigarettes a day, first of all. and that's what loneliness does to you, you know.
Yep.
So let's talk about men and marriage, because the number one reason men typically get married is for family creation, right? 35-year-old men never married was 90% in 1980s, and now it's 60%. And only 20% of 25-year-old men have ever been married. Okay, this is near the lowest level ever recorded. Okay, and 1 in 3 young adults today are projected to never marry. That's crazy. 1 in 3 people are like, marriage is as old as time.
I mean, to be fair, that's true though.
Yep.
Yeah, it is true. You know, a lot of young adults are not in the dating market. A lot of young adults are being eliminated from dating, period. So to see that only 20% of 25-year-olds men have ever been married, that used to never be, because, you know, men of my dad's age, they are married at 22, 23. They're married young. A lot of people married young. And now, with only 20%, that means a whole lot of men are being eliminated from the dating market, period, because of social media, and because of dating apps, and because of women being of a certain level, and they'll only take a certain type of man. So, you know, it's very, very problematic, and this has serious repercussions. Let's continue.
For men, there's no benefit, so
Well, I mean, with the wrong woman,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about government paper marriage. I'm talking like, you know, you actually love and want to have a family with somebody decent.
Okay.
You know what I mean? A median age of first marriage for men is now 30.2, which is the highest since records began in 1890. Okay. And the marriage rate down 60% in the last 50 years. 1 in 4 40-year-olds have never been married. Okay. And 70% of single young men are in no romantic relationship at all. 70%. Yet most say they want marriage and kids.
And that is damning. That is seriously, seriously damning. That majority of young men can't get a date, can't get can't get laid. They just cannot enter into the dating market at all, because women want only a certain standard of men, and it goes across the board from the biggest to the smallest. They all want the same man. And if you're not in and amongst that 30% of single young men who are dating, which means they're the Chads Tyrones, men in shape, men with money, men with career on lock and moving forward with their lives, and men with you know, in a good family, good luck. Simply put, good luck, because you know, your chances of being in a romantic relationship at all in future are highly compromised, and it, you know, it forces young men to do whatever they can in order to get into the dating market. But again, it is a shame that, you know, that statistic rings true, but it is, uh, and uh, and again, it is a terrible sight to see when we get into these sort of things. And this is from the IFS from 2026. So again, I think it's International Fertility Studies or something like that. But again, they'll clarify that as we move forward. But it is terrible. It is a terrible sight to see. And this is not only in the United States. Now these are United States statistics, but you can extrapolate that to the rest of the Western world quite simply. Let's continue.
So let's talk about men in divorce. We talk about that a lot in Red Pill, Manosphere, and all that, right? 70% of U.S. divorces are initiated by the wife. We talk about that here in Fresh and Fit a lot since inception. Roughly 40 to 50% of U.S. first marriages end in divorce. Second marriages fail at 60%, and third at 70%. And among college-educated women, the wife initiation figure runs even higher, 90% in some samples. College education for women nowadays is not education, it's indoctrination.
Yes,
it's
it is.
feminist indoctrination.
Yep.
They go there and they become brainwashed to hate men, hate their femininity, hate everything about themselves, and then go be debt slaves in corporate America. That's the truth.
Yeah, it's understood that that higher education is even elementary and high school education are indoctrination incubators for feminists and feminists who dislike men, feminists who see themselves as superior, and this only allows for women to only increases the likelihood of women seeking divorce in future because men don't measure up and they see they can do bad all by themselves, and that is a very problematic place to be seen. Let's continue.
It's about the education right there. Divorce risk transfers wealth. Divorced men lose roughly half their net worth on average, plus alimony and child support exposure. Okay, and the U.S. divorce rate is that the claim is falling is a mirage. It just reflects that marriage is not happening. Marriages aren't getting healthier.
That's a very important distinction because a lot of people will say, "Oh, we have less divorces," but they're not accounting for the fact that the only reason we have less divorces is because less people are getting married in the first place.
Yep, exactly.
Marriage as an institution is indeed failing, and it is the number one way of creating generational wealth. No doubt about that. The number one way to create generational wealth is through marriage, and that is falling in the United States precipitously and throughout the Western world. People aren't willing to get married, and men are afraid of getting married because they understand that the consequences of divorce could bankrupt them. And it is a slippery slope to which men must be very, very careful, so very, very cautious in doing so before they get married. And I always advocate that men get a prenuptial agreement before getting married so they don't lose their fortunes. But marriage is key to not only living longer, but also through creating generational wealth and other benefits to which will hopefully be told about here on this program. I think it is. Let's continue.
As you can see, it's kind of a catastrophe we're dealing with right now. The startling information here led me to one really simple question, right? And that is, what the fuck is going on? Like, how the fuck did we get here? Literally, what is going on? Why is nobody standing up? Why is nobody saying anything? And why are the people like us who are saying something, why are we getting censored? Why are we getting throttled? Why are we getting demonetized? Why are we getting chastised?
Yeah.
All we're trying to do is help people.
Yeah, and I love how you've kind of given us the landscape. You've painted a picture of like where we are now. We're talking about male loneliness, lack of sex, lack of marriage.
Yep.
It's like almost a perfect storm of different scenarios that's created a problem. Now you're like, okay, this is the issue. How the fuck did we get here? Which you're going to go into now.
So take a look at this real quick. So as a dating coach now for 11 years, I knew I had to figure this out, okay? And I take my work seriously, and I have the credentials to back it up. Okay, first of all, I do have a bachelor's in science from the University of Central Florida in psychology. So I'm not just incoherently rambling as a YouTuber. I do have a proper education in this stuff. My YouTube channel does have over 100,000 subscribers.
Well, this is a psychologist, quite simply.
Yes,
and
yes, you're going to be
on you. You know, obviously, minority guys are going to take this advice seriously, but you know.
I mean, we're all guys who dragged ourselves up to the top.
Yeah.
We're all just come from regular
families,
getting experiences here real quick. 0 to 26. Okay. I even started a show named Job. Okay. At first, I thought I was the problem, right? Okay. The answer on the next slide will shock most of you. Okay. But the number one reason why dating sucks for the average man in the USA is because, you guys ready?
Drum roll.
Yeah, it's funny.
Drum roll, please. Yeah, you know.
All right, here we go. And there are simply too many fat women in America.
Okay.
That's it right there.
All right, we're getting to the crux of the argument, people. This is the money shot here. The reason why, it's a theory and a very good theory. The number one reason why dating sucks for the average man in America is because there are too many fat women. So let's hear what my man has to say about this. And quite simply, when you hear it, you won't be able to unhear it. Let's continue.
Australia and all that are clear and close. Not even close.
They're not the same obesity rates as us.
We smoke them in obesity rate.
So just out to your point, a lot of Europeans come here for vacation. Obviously, you know, Miami's a hot spot. and they eat the food here. They're like, why do I feel so full and like lethargic? You know, I feel like heavy. Food in Europe is so light and pure. It's kind of like eating like a fucking minefield of like just fatty food.
Yeah.
Here in America,
Bro,
it's bad.
100%. Every time I would come back from living in Japan and vacation here, I would get nostalgic. I want to eat Chick-fil-A. I want to go to Olive Garden. I want to eat, Chipotle. I want to do these things. And I would eat it, and my stomach would bloat
Yep.
very, 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 very strongly to like the point it felt like my stomach was going to burst, you know? And there is something seriously wrong with the food supply in the United States of America. I've been saying it since I'm coming on the show in
Yeah.
2020.
For a while.
And there is something seriously wrong. You know, I really try not to eat out. I cook a lot of my meals at home. I make sure I get food from a delivery service that ships me hormone-free, grass-fed beef. And my diet's very simple. Jasmine rice, steak and chicken, and vegetables, because you're gambling with your health these days. Do you know that right now, I talked to you about it last night, Myron,
Yeah.
1 in 2 Americans are projected to get cancer.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's
That's an
50%.
insane- that's an insane stat.
50%.
Yeah.
Again, and this has to deal with diet, and this has to deal with the amount of chemicals, the amount of steroids, um, the amount of fats, the amount of sugars, the amount of salts that they put in American food. If anyone is taking a trip to the United States, there is, well, this is a controversial thing to say, and you can take me as alleged. But the American republic is trying to kill its own citizens, and with the food that they're serving them, because it is so cheap, it is so widely available, and it is filled with absolute chemicals, preservatives, sugars, fats, salts that will send you to an early grave, and they serve it in large quantities. I don't know how my cousins do it down there, but it is a terrible problem. But the American food system down there, a lot of these things are not taken back to Europe. They're not taken to Canada. They're not taken to Australia or many parts around the globe, because quite simply, well, um, the food and health authorities there care about their citizens, quite simply. But they're slowly, and a lot of these food boards are influenced by money, by these nourishment conglomerates, quite simply, and it's reflected in their population, and to a point where people are gladly advertising, scooter, a little ride around scooters, seated scooters for anyone who needs to, get themselves around town or to Disneyland. And there are rarely any bits of public transit or any walking areas, which is seriously a sad occasion. And you can see the portion sizes down there as well. So they're slowly killing themselves, and it's if not for greater lobbies, especially in the likes of Japan and in Western Europe, and even in Canada, these countries would be fast approaching American levels. But it's happening slowly and surely, because the lobby of the lobby of these food conglomerates are reaching, epidemic levels in many parts of the world. But hopefully they'll stem the tide there. But in the United States, it's absolutely god awful. Let's continue.
50%,
bro.
and
That's insane.
and nobody's fucking cares. Nobody's talking about this.
I didn't even know that.
Okay. So let's continue, because it gets worse. All right, but bottom line is just simply too many fat women in America. Okay.
Agreed.
The facts in this very simple. The facts are very simple in this matter. The largest demographic of women in the United States of America is obese women. The most common woman is an obese woman. Okay, followed by overweight, and then the minority is regular weight. Okay?
Which is stunning. But I've said here on Talk Live on many occasions, especially with regards to African American women, especially with regards to African diaspora women, well, definitely in the States, 55% of African American women are obese. Over half of black women in the U.S. are obese. They're way above their register. Well, what they should be considered a healthy size. They're way above it, and it's been a problem for decades now. And and there's no sign of slowing down because a lot of these women are feel comfortable in their own skin, but they don't realize they're killing themselves every day and shorten their lives every day by doing so. So again, we're gonna see how that impacts the dating market in due course. Let's continue.
Okay. Obesity is defined by a body mass index, we're going to say BMI, of 30 or above. Myron, you know about that as a fitness expert. Overweight is a BMI of 25 to 29.9. And the normal body weight is a BMI of 18.5 to 24.9, right? That's your ideal body weight, right? For healthy.
Now, this is for women. This is for women. These BMI averages. This has been quoted on pretty much any fitness site. If you go to let's say Greg Doucette, he quotes this often. So these are actual numbers. These are not. You know. Any fabricated ideas. So again, to those who believe in body positivity and fat acceptance, yeah, and you're triggered. Well, the truth is the truth. Let's continue.
Metabolic function. 12.6% of adult women have severe obesity. Okay, that's a BMI of 40 plus. That is double the amount of men.
If you can equate that to like pounds, maybe, so people can understand what a 40 BMI would kind of look like from a weight perspective.
I mean, it's different because it's height divided by weight.
Course, yeah.
So, but you're pushing 250, about.
Oh, 250 pounds.
Yeah,
Wow.
40 plus BMI.
12% of women are over 250.
Well, if she's 5'4", she only needs to be like maybe 210.
Ah, gotcha.
Because BMI is your height divided by your weight.
Yep.
And that gives you a number.
Okay.
Okay. And so, but 12.6%,
Yeah, that's insane.
it is insane.
And most women are about 5'5", 5'6". That's the average height of a woman. Yeah, about 5'5". And so for her, I would say, as he said, pushing an average weight of 250 pounds, guys. 250 pounds. It's stunning how women see themselves at that weight and consider themselves just fine. I'll leave that to you to decide. 250 pounds as a woman. Yeah, it is a problem. It's a serious problem. Let's continue.
It's wildly overweight.
There's more severely obese women than men. You would think, overall, there are technically more obese men than obese women in America, but that's because men carry more muscle.
Yeah.
You have like fat truck drivers that are also huge, strong. Yeah. You got garbage men that are also big, strong, but also fat. But you can't lie about the 12.6% of the females being severely obese.
Yeah,
It's
there's
just,
no justification for that one.
no, she's not a strong lifter.
Yeah.
She's a strong eater.
Yeah, men. Very, very few women out there are actually in the gym to say their BMI is 25 to 29%. It doesn't happen. It's like, I would say maybe the top 1% of women, not more than top 3. Most women do not carry muscle on their body to say that their BMI is above 29%. It doesn't. It's not usually the case. And most of these women, if they do, have certain concoctions that are available widely within the gym realm to make it so. So again, a lot of these women are not in the gym. A lot of these women are not taking their health seriously uh, or taking their health to deadly levels to get to a 25 to 20 to above a 29% body mass index. So they're basically made of muscle. Very, very few. I would say lower than 1%. Let's continue.
Okay. According to the latest Center of Disease Control and Prevention data, take a look at this real quick. The average American woman aged 20 and older is 5'3.5".
There we go.
172 pounds, and she has a 38.5 inch waist.
Bro,
38.5 inch waist. You're a
that's
woman.
insane.
That I can't even fit in that.
Yeah, I can't either.
And I'm a man. You know?
Usually, to say that an average woman is 100, an average is 171 pounds. That's a big woman. For 5'3", that's a huge woman. That does not appear healthy on an average woman of 171 pounds. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. For 5'3", maybe 5, 6, 7, 8. The higher you go, okay, it starts to average out. But for an average woman, 5'3", 171 pounds, that is diabolical. And these stats are starting to trend around the world, starting to, especially in a lot of Western countries, especially in let's call it out. A lot of Samoan countries, uh, a lot of South. Well, what's it now? Polynesian states as well, where it's they have terrible diets and they tend not to eat many fruits and vegetables and very very sedentary lifestyles. But this is starting to trend around the world, and we're gonna get into a movement that has pushed for this and are now starting to pay the price for such a movement. But that is stunning. For 171 pounds, okay, that is that for a 5'3" girl, that's a big girl. That's that is I wouldn't say she's overweight, yes, but that's a big girl. That shouldn't be. That you should be 171 pounds or above as a woman, especially at 5'3". Let's continue.
Like 31, 32. This shit is crazy, dude. 38 is nuts.
Oh, don't worry, it gets worse. It gets worse, Myron. I'm sorry. When it comes to men seeking women to date, I want everybody in the group here, because we're all men, okay? I would think it's safe to say that most men are ideally looking for these 5 things. And if you agree with me in the chat, I want you to put a 5, okay? So first things first, right? We're looking for a woman that's single, right? Number 2, we're looking for a woman, female, okay?
Yes.
I know some weird people and
you got to check the neck and them hands these days, guys. These girls are these lady boys these days are getting way more. They're getting way more sophisticated in terms of hiding their true sex, and quite simply, a lot of men out there are starting to look for these ladies, which is stunning. But anyways, nonetheless, you really need to check these things out, because you could be in for a fall to which you'll never forget. Let's continue.
I like to do other things, but anyways, 18 to 35 years old, right? Typically, if you're going to go hook up for a girl, you're not looking for someone 35, 36, 37, 38, 40 something, right? This is like your appropriate range. They're still attractive and fit in this range, in most normal countries. No children, right? Nobody really wants to deal with baby mama drama. And not fat. BMI of 18.5 to 24.9, okay? Again, just all math, all numbers. Just keep it nice and simple, right? You think that's a good baseline?
Yeah.
If you're looking for a girl to hook up with?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Girl shape.
Good foundation.
Relationship, right? Good baseline.
Yeah.
So, pop quiz, everybody. What % of the U.S. population is the following? Single, female, 18 to 35 years old, no children, and not fat. Myron, what do you think? What % of the U.S. population?
It's going to be single digits.
Okay.
Sure.
Give me a number.
Wait, I don't know if I want to say it, because I think you told me already. I don't want to ruin it.
Okay. Mo, what do you think?
Maybe like 15%.
15%? What do you think, Fresh?
10%?
10%? Bills, you want to throw yours in the hat?
I'm like 10% too. I'm gonna go 10%.
10%, 15%? That's good. It's good. Educated guess. What do you think, Brett?
Yeah, for that particular.
Nine.
Yeah.
Okay, chat. What do you think? Put your percentages. What % of the USA population is the following? Okay, you guys ready?
6%.
Okay, before I give the answer here, I chose 5% of women are single female, 18 to 35, no children, and not overweight, not fat, not obese. a BMI of 18.5 to 24.9%. I said 5%. Listen to what the actual statistic is.
6%.
5%.
Damn. 1.2% of the United States American population.
Really?
That's census data.
Really?
That's census data, my friend. That's 4.1 million women in a nation of 350 million people.
Bruh.
That is stuff. Let me bring it back to myself. For a population to have only 1%, and I mean barely 1% of women being fit, and this is from the US Census, is shocking. You mean to tell me that the top 1% of women are actually fit? Top 1%. Now you're going to see how this impacts the dating market. And I mean seriously impacts it. But only 1% of females are actually fit. So chances are, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, the lady you're dealing with is either overweight or obese. There it is. You're going to see how that impacts on the dating market. That every woman that you meet up with, chances are she's overweight or she's obese. You can't make this stuff up. You literally can't make this up. And this is making a lot of men, well, go to alternatives, quite simply. We're going to explain that later in the show, or in part 2. Let's continue with this. It is stunning that only 1.2% of women are actually fit. I've seen it in the gym myself. Luckily, I'm in the gym to know. I've seen a lot more fit women there because you can pick them out, but that's not the populace. That is not the majority of the American public / the G8 nation public. Chances are when you're walking down the street, you're going to meet up with an overweight / obese woman as you're dating. The majority of them will be overweight or obese as your dating pool going forward. Stunning. Let's continue.
It is the reverse calculator for sure.
Oh, don't worry, guys. It gets worse.
Hey, well, you know what? At least we're not fucking delusional. We've
No.
kind of already known this, but now we can finally quantify it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's
Yeah.
take a look here. Okay, so what if I'm being too strict about the BMI? Maybe I'm being too strict, right? There are some women that technically are, overweight but look good, right? So what about this? What if because there's some women who are with a BMI that classifies them as overweight, but they're attractive, right? This woman is classified as overweight, but she's relatively attractive. She's all right. She's not bad. A couple Coronas, I could do it. But what if we included, Myron, 25 BMI, 26 BMI, and all the way up to 26.9, even though only a fraction of those women would actually be attractive, right? But what if we just included all that?
Okay, so we're winding out the net.
So surely that would provide a more optimistic number, especially because we're including all women in the BMI range of 25 to 26.9. So pop quiz number 2.
This for you, Fresh.
You guys ready?
Fresh, just for you.
Pop quiz number 2. Yeah, this is Fresh's girlfriend. What % of the USA population is the following? Single, female, 18 to 35 years old, no children, normal body weight, and just a little fat. We'll just say BMI 25, 26, and 26 point, all the way up to 26.9. So earlier it was 1.2%. So we're going to put some fatties in here, okay? And remember, this doesn't adjust for beauty. This is just...
Of course, this is just
Yeah.
raw.
Okay. What do you guys think? You want to go around?
And again, this speaks to the single mother epidemic that's out there. This really does speak to the single mother epidemic, and it's the fact that only 1.2% of women are actually fit with no children that are 18 to 35 is stunning to me. But we're going to reveal the other part of that in hour number 2. We're going to get out of here on Instagram. We're going to get out of here on Instagram. Come on back for the second hour here on Talk Live as we renew the feed here. But thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live. And thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live on YouTube. Thank you very much. And we're going to head right back to Instagram right now as we go here. Yes, indeed. But there we go. In 3, 2, 1. There it is. And thank you very much. We're back in the second hour here on Talk Live, ladies and gentlemen. We're going into the midnight hour here. And we're discussing, yes, the amount of women who are 18 to 34 single women without child and who hit even an overweight state. They're going to 26.9 BMI. So they're moving it up to it's slightly overweight, and to see where we stand with regards to that. So even 26.9, so they're slightly overweight, but we wouldn't consider them fat necessarily, but they're husky women. They're a husky woman. So they are hitting that, I would say 160, 170 pound range here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what the results are when we speak of that. And believe me, this will shock you. Let's go.
Myron, what do you think?
I think you told me this one too. I don't
Fresh,
wanna ruin
what do you
it.
think? We were at 1.2 before, so it's got to get better.
This is a trick question, man.
This is a trick question.
You see, even you're an expert and you didn't know this. That's why I'm saying nobody's paying attention to this data.
Yeah. No, there was clearly a problem, but now it's like being quantified, and I think showing the numbers on screen is like really good to
Yeah.
show.
What do you think, Fresh? Give us a guess.
2%?
2%? Bills?
Yeah, I'm going 2%.
2%? Mo?
I was thinking a relatively small jump.
It's probably like 0.1, bro. For real.
Yo, it's probably. I'm thinking like. I was gonna say 4, but
4?
But that's still a lot.
That's a lot of fat girls.
That's still a lot. So I'm actually going down to 3.5.
3.5? Okay. What do you think, Brett?
So this is just a little chunk.
Yeah.
I don't want to give him too much credit. Maybe like 4%.
4%? All right. Good answers from everybody. Let's take a look at the answer here. You
gave a
guys
lot of
ready?
credit.
In 3, 2, 1. Survey says.
God.
What?
Bro, that was a baby step, bro.
1.7% of the United
Where you get
States
these pictures?
population.
Where you get these
Just-
pictures?
Fatgirls.com.
Yeah.
All we did was add a fresh type, bro.
So you're looking at best at an ideal dating pool inflated with a little bit of fatties. 5.6 million women in the United States of America.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's break this down quite simply. Chances are, if you're entering the dating pool as a man and you're choosing a lady from the 18 to 35 year age range, you will have to choose a lady who is overweight and obese and with child. I want you to let that sink in. Chances are, I'm going to get to the big screen because this is serious business now. Chances are, if you're entering the dating pool, because you saw the 1.7% of women, right? Now, this can fluctuate, but it's still out. If you can extrapolate it to England, you can extrapolate it to Canada, you can extrapolate it to the G8 nations. You can extrapolate. I wouldn't say so much for Japan and the Far East because they have a very it's considered sinful to be obese over there, so I'll eliminate them. But let's say Western Europe. The woman that you're looking for, overwhelmingly, unless you are, well, we're not going to go there yet, but chances are, as an average guy, you're going into a dating market in which the lady has 1, a high body count. 2 is already with child. And 3 is overweight or obese. Let that sink in. You're going into a dating market where women have relatively high body count, overweight and obese, and with child. Because see the statistics here. When you add women who are overweight with no children, it's only 1.7%. As I said, the dating pool out here for average men is a cooked one. It's very, very much, there are very slim pickings. You do not want to be outside in the dating market as a man. Quite simply, because you are dealing with ladies who are feminists to begin with, have had a good amount, have had their age of discovery, have had their whole phase, are pregnant or have had children, and are overweight or obese. For young men out there, I fear for them because I came up in an age where this was an impossibility, but we are here now. We are here. And that's why men have had to go to alternatives in order to seek out dating. But for the average man, it is tough. It is so, so tough. Dating apps are against you. Female demographics are against you. And as you will see, something else is against you. Let's continue. We'll continue back with that later on, but it's tough out there. It really is rough out there, guys. And I feel sorry for the next generation, especially Gen Z and Gen Alpha. It's only going to get worse. Let's continue.
In a country of 350 million people. So, Let's go. Let's continue with the presentation. Fast, fat facts about American women real quick, okay? So, the first world reality. Among the 38 developed nations that make up the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the U.S. leads the pack by a significant margin, a very fat margin, if you will. Mm-hmm. The U.S. rate, over 40% of adult American women are clinically obese, and roughly 70% fall into the combined overweight and obese categories.
And I've already quoted the fact that if you go to blackdemographics.com, they even quote that black women are the number one group for in terms of rates of obesity. They're at 55%. Over half of black women in the United States are obese. Over half of black women in the United States are obese. Considered obese. Above a 26 BMI, body mass index. And considering all Americans, 40% are clinically obese. Terrible odds. Let's continue.
If you have 10 women in front of you, 4 are very fat. 3 are fat. Mm-hmm. Okay? And then you have 3 that are either regular weight or underweight.
Yeah.
Okay? The runner-up, other English-speaking countries, developed nations, like you said, Myron, New Zealand, Australia, and the United Kingdom are the closest followers, but their female obesity rates hover much lower in the low to mid-30 range.
Gotcha. So they got bitchy women too, they're just not as fat.
Well, the bitchy, the thing is, you'll see about what makes the women bitchy, and further down. I love how you're already on it. It's beautiful.
No, we'll continue. I don't want to interrupt.
No, it just shows, you know what you're talking about. The European contrast, like just Fresh was saying about the food. Fresh, I just saw you were in France and you were living good over there. In the majority of, in major developed European countries like Germany, France, and Italy, the female obesity rate drops significantly to roughly 10 to 17%.
Now I never knew that point. That is new to me because I thought it would generally trend over because of the American influence on popular culture around the world. But y- I would see that point because I lived in Europe for 7 years myself, mainly in the United Kingdom, where their obesity rates tend to trend towards the United States, but you don't see as many obese women there. Definitely not. But in European nations like Germany, France, Italy, where a there's a frowning upon of you being obese. Literally, is a frowning upon of you being obese. I can see the 10 to 17%. Absolutely, absolutely. Women are taught there to be in shape. Women are taught to take lower portions. Women are taught to be on a diet and and have a healthy diet and advocate regular exercise. So I see the contrast there. I do see the contrast there in many definitely Western European nations. Those that are close to the United States, they tend to be a little bit bigger, like in the United Kingdom. But even them, as they said, the mid to low 30% range. But these are trending up. These are trending up as American culture, as American pop culture trends throughout the rest of the world. But there is a bit of a cap with regards to obese women in the rest of the world. But again, um, mm, uh, not many of those countries have the African American population, unfortunately, that the United States does, and that does send the statistics shooting way up. Let's continue.
Check out, look at this. This is my specialty, Asia. In highly developed first world Asian countries like Japan and South Korea, the female obesity rate remains in the single digits, around 4 to 5%.
Yeah, there's very, very much frowned upon to be fat in Asia. You cannot, you cannot. I remember watching Will Tennyson video when he recently went out to Asian nations, and he went to a park where they have literal, jungle gyms and areas to do tai chi, and a wooden logs set amongst each other, where people can size themselves up. So if you're this rate, you're obese. If this, you're overweight. If this, you are healthy. At this, you're slim. At this, you are very thin. And you know, Will Tennyson had a hard time getting into the fit range as it is in Asia. People out there are. It's very, very much frowned upon in Asian nations to be fat. Maybe in the different Asian nations like Philippines and such. But even them, um, I could see obesity rates being in the single digits because their diets are very agrarian, very healthy based, and society frowns upon places, especially in places like Japan and South Korea, very much frown upon people being obese or being large or being too fat. You cannot be that way out there, or else you're pretty much ostracized within such societies. Let's continue.
Meanwhile, 70% of ours are fat. That's crazy work.
What's even crazier
Yeah.
is they have more obese women than we have fit women. Irony, bro. The irony.
Yeah, it's insane.
I was in Korea in December, and I lived in Japan for almost 11 years. I can tell you from a firsthand experience that this data is extremely true. Okay. The contrast is shocking. Okay, take a look at that on the graph. On the left-hand side, you see Japan's obesity rate, 4.5% compared to the United States of America, 41.3, 9 to 10%. Now, it's two rich countries, because Japan has a very strong economy, same food access, same education, arguably, but one outcome is culture and environment.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to see about what happened with our culture and environment here. Half of the country was a healthy weight now, before, but now it's 1 in 4. The green line here, starting in 1976, shows normal body weight. As you can see, that's trending down. Overweight is right in the middle, but as you see in the middle there, as overweight is trending down, it looks good, right? Mm-hmm. But it's a direct inverse correlation to obesity. So they're graduating from overweight into obese. That's what this data right here is showing when you see that line.
Gotcha.
Okay.
They're getting big.
So at the end of the day, especially in the United States, more women are trending to an obese weight rather than an overweight weight, which is, as you can see, is trending downwards, and so is the normal underweight, under 25% BMI size, which is it's stunning to me, guys. It really is stunning how we are at this segment of things. So 40, 27, that's 67. So that's 67. So 33%. 33% of women are overweight. So he didn't include that in the chart. But that pales in comparison to the way it was in the 1980s into the 1970s, into 1976, where very, very few women were considered obese. Now it is at a 40% level for all women, let alone black women, which is just way above normal. And it is sad to see, quite simply, that we have reached these levels, especially in the United States, but they are trending throughout the world. And if not checked, it will. Listen, the dating market and society, especially there in the United States, is going to crater. It's going to implode, and we will not like the repercussions of such things. Let's continue.
Bigger, not going the other way.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. And as obesity rose, take a look at this. This is where we're going to start getting into the meat of it. Male sexlessness followed. That blue line right there is an indicator of the amount of men with no sex in the past year. And look how as
You see it
obesity
shooting
goes,
up drastically after 2010.
right, right, and I would say it's a little bit. It's two parts, right? The first part is definitely the supply of attractive women is shrinking, and also in about 2010, the proliferation of smartphones
Yes,
became
I was going to say that.
popular, and so you could look at
The iPhone 4 came out 2010. I'll never forget.
and you could look at pornography on your phone now. I think that's a
Do you
big
think
thing.
that's a contributing factor?
Well,
Okay.
I mean, when you're subjected to being, visually graped by all these pigs everywhere, I can understand if you're like, I just need to find something attractive. I need to stay sane, right? But I do not condone the use of pornography at all.
So this is the crux of things as of right now. Okay. As you can see, we'll break it down even further. iPhone began in 2007, Tinder in 2012, Instagram I think was 2010 or something to that effect, where women could chat, could compare and contrast each other. I think TikTok was I think during the was pre-pandemic. I think during the pandemic, TikTok became popular. So all these different sites and the use of smartphones such as the iPhone, such as um, Samsung, and now Google, and all these different uses of smartphones, they really have come together in a nuanced way to contribute to the male sexlessness rate, because women are comparing notes, women are trying to keep up with the Joneses, women are making decisions unto themselves, women are getting flown out. All these things are combining to contribute to the sexlessness rate. It used to be at 8% in 1980, because no one had smartphones, and there wasn't any comparison between two things. Now women are using this to further accentuate their choices and eliminating a whole segment of men in the process. Now you're getting it with women obesity on the rise. Let's say it. Men are who want women at a normal weight or at a premium. Therefore, uh, women who women who have a choice of men at their disposal, even simping men. They have to compare and contrast with different men's of any size, and they're only going to go with the Chad Tyrones and high volume men. These skinnier women, and not only that, when skinnier women are trying to chase these men, other women want these same men as well. So therefore, they're doing away with different men, and you're going to see that throughout this presentation. But it makes for very sobering reading once again. Sorry, that as as women get bigger and get larger, more men are having sex. Period. Less men are having sex. Period. It is very correlative in that respect. Let's continue.
Let's continue. This is an inversion table real quick. So you could see 1990, 51% of the U.S. population was overweight and obese, right? But 10% of men were sexless. And in the year 2000, it goes 62 to 15. And then it goes 64 to 12 to 15, 68% in 2018. And then as 69 goes up in 2024, we're at 24 to 28% as well. Okay.
So again, I'm gonna run that graph back one more time so you can see the trend. Women are getting fatter and more sexist men in the process because most of these men here would like to have a fit or at least average sized woman to have sex with. The average sized woman is now overweight or obese. The average sized woman is overweight and obese, and they want the same things that fit women want. So with that correlation, with that combination, you're finding a lot, and the use of social media as well. You're finding a lot more men sexless in society, and this is only going to grow because only a certain segment of men, either you have your money on point, either you're fit, either you have game or learn or can hold frame and can survive in this dating market are going to have sex, and that's the top 20 to 30% are going to have regular sex, and there'll be a whole segment 60 to 70% of men who will not and will see sex as a novelty rather than the regular deal. And it's a shame, but that's the dating market in 2026, and this is not only in the United States but around the world as well. Let's continue.
We're at 24 to 28%.
Well, in the Western world, I wouldn't say around the world. Let's continue.
Well, okay. So how is this affecting men? How is this affecting men, right? For that, we return to my education in psychology, refer to one fact that clears up part of the equation, okay? The 0.7 rule, and that is the hourglass figure, okay? Across every culture studied, men rate a waist-to-hip ratio near 0.7 as most attractive. So this is one of the most replicated findings in the field of psychology, okay? It holds worldwide and across eras. Miss America winners and Playboy models, they cluster at 0.7 for decades, even as body weight fashions changed, okay? The killer proof is here. This is crazy. Men blind from birth, judged by touching alone, preferred the same 0.7 ratio. Zero media, zero cultural programming.
Damn.
And you know where you saw this in full view? The movie Ray. When they described how Ray Charles chose his women and they held their wrists like so, and he held and well, first he shook their hand, but then he grabbed their wrists to see if they were fit enough. That's how he chose his women. If they're too big in their forearm area, he didn't want them. Women had to be of a have a slender forearm. That's how he judged his women. Go back and watch Ray. Go back and watch how Jamie Foxx he had a tour de force performance, quite simply, and how Ray Charles went about to choose his women. He chose them by grabbing their hand and seeing how slim they were. If they were too big, no. So, again, Ray Charles would have a hell of a time dealing with the ladies of today. But again, he was famous, so he wouldn't have to deal with the rank and file, quite simply, who are overweight and obese. Let's continue.
Blind. So what men like is genetically built into us, right? So when a guy says, I really like fat girls, he probably just says that because that's all he can pull, You know,
I was there. I was there, brother.
hey, I think we've all had to slay a few dragons in the past.
Nigga was
right?
starving.
I mean, you know, I think that point right there, the third point there is that it shows, again, men blind from birth, judged by touching mannequins alone and women alone, preferred the same 0.7 ratio. I mean, that is insane. You can't see. You touch a woman's body, you're like, yeah, this is the best one. And it's again, you know, if you look at the study right there, you can see the citation. So why? Low waist to hip ratio biologically signals fertility, youth, and health. It's wired in. It's not taught. It is our biology as men. And as they try to push this out of us, it's obviously, you know, men are pushing back.
Yep.
Right? The bridge is as weight climbs, weight to hip ratio degrades, double the obesity, the supply of 0.7 women collapses. Preference didn't change, bodies did.
Ooh.
That is stunning. That is a great quote there by MLD. Let's read it again. The bridge, as weight climbs, waist to hip ratio degrades. Double the obesity means the supply of 0.7 women collapses. Preferences didn't change, bodies did, exactly. So you're not getting the best of the best anymore. You're not. Chances are, if you're not getting the dating market that my dad had, well, that I had when I was younger. You're not getting that market anymore. Women were way fitter in the 90s than they are today. It's getting much, much, much worse. And even so, that is not as good as my father's time in the 1970s, where women were literally, most women were thin. My mother was thin when she married my dad in her early 20s, mind you. And and had us. And most of these women are, well, relatively fit. You're not getting that anymore. You're not getting it anymore. Double the obesity. More than half of women are overweight or obese. More than and with child or have high body counts. You're not getting the best of the best anymore. You're dealing from, and this is where, well, wholeflation comes in. But we'll soon see that there may be a change, a little nuanced change to that saying as we go on with the presentation. Let's continue.
Okay.
Bars.
That is not opinion. It's 30 years of peer-reviewed data, Myron.
Yeah.
Now, again, this is what the government in the United States don't want you to hear. They don't want you to hear this. They don't want this to get out there. They don't want men to be to have knowledge of this. They don't want men to understand that things in terms of choices of women are getting worse. They want people to love women at any size, or to be in a be in a malaise when it comes to the dating market. They don't want to know that they're of their high body counts. They don't want to know that many of these women are have had children before, especially if you get to a certain age. Usually, by the time you hit 35, most women have had kids already. They're done. They're done. So you try to go as low as possible. But most of these women are starting to have kids at younger ages, and there's no men to be seen, because single motherhood is on the rise as well. So, especially in the United States. So we are in a state of crisis with regards to the dating market. Let's continue.
No, that's insane. Guys, real quick, I'm going to end my Myron Gaines X stream. Come on over to Fresh Fit on YouTube, or go to my Kick, whatever you guys want, but I'm going to end my MGX stream on YouTube. Mo's going to rate it, but we'll continue on.
Okay. So let's continue on.
Yeah, go to my Kick or Fresh Fit YouTube, guys. We're going to literally, we're building back up the Fresh Fit YouTube channel. So
Right. So take a look real quick. Here's an example of a woman with a 0.7 hip to waist ratio. So chat, pay attention, because I got a question for you. Which do you men at home watching prefer? Vote 1 for the normal body weight. Number 2 is overweight, and obese is number 3. Take a quick vote in the chat. Let me see what you guys.
Ones in the chat.
Well, we know that this is what the result of that
there's
is.
Another
Let's continue.
example of their marketing right there.
Perfect. Let's get into this right here.
So, Dove mess. Let's take a look at this. This is where it gets dark. Okay, if you do the research and connect the dots, it's pretty simple. And don't worry, I did it for you. Okay, there's me schizomaxing. It all started with this photo from 2004, the Dove Real Beauty campaign, right? They wanted to empower women. They wanted to show real bodies. That's what their marketing department said. But
Now remember, a lot of these women who want to show that they're real bodies, a lot of these girls would be considered fit or of average. Well, yeah, they'd be considered fit. This is 2004. Watch how things change as time moves on to 2026. Let's continue.
assure you, this was a diabolical scheme that women fell for, hook, line, and sinker. Okay, so Dove led the beginning of a 20-year campaign that taught women that weight has nothing to do with health or beauty. Here's another example of their marketing right there.
And again, look again. A lot of these women are listen. Most men would take women of these sizes any day of the week. They are relatively healthy. They have relatively good body shape. They're of I would say within that 25 to 29% body weight body mass index range, if not a little lower. So these are widely acceptable women. Widely acceptable. Let's continue.
And so this was the beginning of the end. All right. In 2004, Dove launched its Real Beauty campaign to challenge beauty stereotypes, the same beauty stereotypes that are genetically embedded into men, and promote body positivity. The campaign was created in partnership with an advertising agency, Ogilvy and Mather. If you look at the early life history of somebody there, you might be talking about that on Myron Gaines X.
Now remember, the body positivity movement was started by black and I would say was it gay advocates, I think it was, but definitely black women, and then it was co-opted by Madison Avenue and corporate sponsorships such as Dove and well you see women such as Ms. Graham, the model as to what their look of body positivity should be, which most men would take quite simply. Ashley Graham, there it is. Ashley Graham, which is most men would take, but unfortunately, this has been co-opted to epidemic proportions, as you will soon see. Let's continue.
Dove wanted to differentiate itself from competitors and connect with women
Every single time.
Let's continue.
Here we go.
Dove wanted to differentiate. I knew you'd love that.
Yeah.
I looked
Fucking-
into it too. It was.
Bruh.
I was thinking of you when I looked into it. It was-
God fucking yo, it's like
Yeah.
you can't, bruh.
yeah, her name's Sylvia something. I forgot.
Of
but-
course.
Yeah, from Unilever. She gave the green light. She was head of the marketing. Dove wanted to differentiate itself from the competitors.
Well, again, we can reveal it. Well, if you know Fresh and Fit, you know who they're referring to. Let me say that. If you know, you know. Let's continue.
Competitors connect with women on a more personal and emotional level. Bullshit. Their solution, Dove decided to feature real women with diverse shapes, sizes, and ages in their advertisements. The campaign aimed to redefine beauty standards, promote self-confidence amongst women. It also included a series of videos, workshops, and events centered around the concept of real beauty. Again, trying to psyop people into believing something that men's genetics say this is what we want. 0.7 hip to waist ratio. Okay. So the results. The Real Beauty campaign garnered global attention and sparked conversations about body positivity and self-esteem. It helped Dove establish itself as a brand that cares about its customers and their well-being, leading to increased brand loyalty and sales. Obviously, all corporate bullshit talk, but
And this spread across the landscape towards towards different products, toward different areas of female advertising, including the likes of always feminine products to Old Navy. You know, it went really really viral, went really really global into all aspects of things, and the ladies that started of a certain size only grew from there. Let's continue.
I digress. Let's continue on here, right?
Mhm.
The end result, Dove lied.
So what I mean to say is it literally legitimized being big boned in society, especially in the Western world, especially in the United States. Let's continue.
To women and said that being fat is healthy and beautiful, all for the sake of money.
There it is.
Period. Full stop.
Mr. R&B,
Okay.
what's up?
So, and this led to a catastrophic chain of events. 2008, fat shaming enters Oxford English Dictionary, pointing at the problem now becomes a crime. 2009, healthy at every size goes mainstream. Weight loss is no longer a medical goal. HAES as a framework comes from the Association for Size, Diversity, and Health, a nonprofit founded in 2003, trademarked the phrase healthy at every size. And genderqueer activist Lindo Bacon published a book, and that is Healthy at Every Size, the surprising truth about your weight. And then she published it under the name Linda Bacon. It's like they're trolling
They're
you.
trolling you.
It's spitting right in your face.
In front of you, yeah.
You know?
So this is the psyop that's going on, guys, in terms of helping women. Well, I wouldn't say helping. In terms of making women of overweight and obese size be considered mainstream and be considered normal, guys. Before, this would never be advertised. 60s, 70s, 80s, this would never be advertised as a thing. Even the 90s wouldn't be advertised as a thing. It's only when it hit the 2000s that being healthy at every size, being big boned, being overweight, being obese was considered normal. And men should accept women at this size. And this is where the problems began in terms of the dating market. Because men really didn't want this, but we had to accept this. This is the new normal. Let's continue.
She is a nutrition researcher whose book became the movement's Bible and pushed it from activist circles into dietitians, medicine, and eventually corporate HR. So now you have corporate HR telling the workers that they can be fat and it's okay. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
And you start, as you see in modern day, you start seeing health ministers who are obese. Let me repeat that. You start seeing health ministers who are literally obese. See the Canadian health minister. See, I believe, uh, one of the Scandinavian countries, their health ministers was very, very, very much obese. No, no, no. Oh, yes, indeed. I know where this is. Quebec's health minister is considered obese as well. They're the ones who would literally tell you you can be healthy at every size. Are you kidding me? Let's
If you really look into this, it is diabolical. All right. That's just 2009. Remember, we're in 2026 here. Okay. So this
You know
has
what's
been
crazy? Her last name is Bacon.
yeah.
Yo, you can't make this shit up, bro. Like, what? How you got... Dude, who came up with that? Bacon's your last name? What the heck?
Yeah.
That's wild,
We're
bro.
in a simulation. Bills, click on that PowerPoint so I can get to the next one.
That's
Thanks,
crazy.
buddy.
That's crazy, bro.
So 2010, Instagram launches. The toxic message now has a delivery system.
remember what I said before. Instagram launches. This is where, and Instagram is considered. Let's go back to that caption right there because that went quite quickly. Here we go. Instagram launches in 2010. Instagram is considered the largest dating app in the world. The largest dating app in the world. There's no doubt about that. eHarmony can't match it. Bumble can't match it. Match can't match it. None of these dating apps can match Instagram. Instagram is where people meet. The Instagram where people DM. Instagram where people, well, where dating happens. It really does happen. Now you understand. You'll start to understand why this has really accelerated problems with men in the dating market and well, non-intimate men. Period. Let's continue.
delivery system. 2012, Facebook buys Instagram. Algorithmic feeds take over, and engagement rewards validation, not truth. We've all seen this in the comment section. Fresh, Myron. We have all seen women lying to obese women in the comment section of Instagram, telling them they're beautiful no matter
TikTok
what.
too.
TikTok,
Dude, TikTok is. It's literally like a girl will be in a car complaining about some stuff, and her comment section is all, "You go, girl, you're a queen, fuck him, blah, blah, blah." It's like constant reaffirmation of their stupidity and bad behavior.
Remember Lizzo?
Yeah, well, again, this is just goes back to reaffirm how women, especially in the West, especially in the United States and Western Europe, how they'll never call a woman out. Not like in Asia, where it's considered, well, literally shameful to be obese. In the United Kingdom, you're celebrated for your obesity, which is stunning. Let's continue.
She's the queen of making people feel better about being
Not only
fat.
that, remember they shit on her for losing weight?
Yeah. You lost your appeal, girl.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Bruh.
Are you sick?
Yeah,
I
keep
love
it
you
each other.
guys.
They're referring to Lizzo here, and she got the message when she couldn't date Chris Evans. Then she started losing weight, and well, she still does her what's it now? Her eating diary things, and she's still advertising for Chili's and their baby back ribs, as been proven in our last show. Mukbangs. There you go. She still does her mukbang videos. Oh, let's continue.
Down.
You guys are so on it. I love it. Okay. So 2013 to 2018, the acceleration and full takeover. Okay. This is when wokeism really started going full speed ahead. Tumblr, body positivity boom. Hashtag F your beauty standards on 2013 went viral. Plus size models on every magazine covers, and brands and medicine fall in line. The brakes are gone on this runaway train.
This is where the co-op really begins. That's when you start seeing a lot of bigger boned women on covers of Vogue, on covers of Mademoiselle, on covers of all um, on all beauty and fashion magazines. Like, they're trying to normalize obesity. They're trying to normalize obesity, which a few decades previous would never have been. But as women see that influence, of course they're going to take that into society, and therefore you'll start seeing the falling of fit women in society, period, because everybody starts to accept that obese women are a thing, and women don't have to diet anymore, and it's a vicious cycle. Let's continue.
Full speed ahead. Tumblr, body positivity boom. Hashtag F your beauty standards on 2013 went viral. Plus size models on every magazine covers, and brands and medicine fall in line. The brakes are gone on this runaway train. 2016 to 2020, TikTok arrives, and every platform now algorithmically boosts all bodies are beautiful while blurring the health data. Okay?
Absolutely. And guess what? If you're seen as being critical of bigger women, especially on TikTok, your message is banned. Literally taking off any sort of publication. The same thing with not so much here on YouTube, but definitely on the likes of Instagram, definitely on the likes of Facebook. You can't insult big women anymore. You can't do it. It's just an impossibility. It's considered hate speech. Let's continue.
To 2020, TikTok arrives, and every platform now algorithmically boosts all bodies are beautiful while blurring the health data. Okay?
Yep.
The dark truth, okay? The lie didn't spread because it was true. It spread because it was profitable for the platforms, the brands, and the influencers selling it, okay? Including Linda Bacon, right? Body positivity was not a grassroots movement. This was a socially engineered thing that has killed so many women, okay? Because, where the body positivity for men doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist.
This was
And that's the truth. Men who are obese are relegated to the dregs of society. You cannot be fat and be a man. You cannot. This is another one of those double standards that many people don't talk about. You can't be body positive in a man. You can only be body positive in a woman. That is deemed as acceptable. Being positive and a man literally ostracizes you from society. If you're eating Cheetos in your basement, if you are driving to the drive-through and are 300 or 400 pounds, nobody notices you, nobody sees you. It is very problematic for men. Men either have to get in shape or die alone. It's as simple as that. That is the rule. Even bigger women don't want bigger men. They don't want it. They don't need. They think that. Well, okay, we're going a little further into things. Let's continue.
A socially engineered marketing scam that generated a $35 billion a year industry. $35 billion a year, guys,
That's insane.
in the U.S. alone.
Yep. Yeah. No, that's a huge ethical problem.
Okay.
You know, it's
And furthermore here, Bills, I think you got to click. There we go. U.S. plus size clothing market alone is $37 billion a year in
Wait.
2024.
I just looked it up.
web.
Is Lindo Bacon
Oh,
Jewish?
we're not
What is
gonna
it? What is
go
it? For
there,
me.
Yeah.
ladies and
For
gentlemen.
me.
We're gonna continue.
Listen,
God damn, bro.
you're gonna notice, or I mean, you're putting your head in the sand if you don't. It's just it is what it is.
Yeah, they refer to Linda Bacon as well. We're not going to say that here. That has to be censored because we're on YouTube. Let's continue. Quite simply, U.S. plus size clothing market, yes, 37 billion a year. In 2024, the global market runs about 120 to 330 billion a year, depending on research house definition. Yeah, yeah. As I said, the likes of Old Navy, the likes of well, most Old Navy went big on this, went huge on this. They had their own. They created an own section of clothing for obese women. Their own section. There wasn't. I mean, they're extra large for men, but there wasn't. It was just men's sizes. For women, they had their own section of positive clothing, which is stunning, literally stunning. And you know, uh, as stated, it's run amok, and it is given women license to be big, and given and not listening to what men's demands are. They're literally running with on their own. But this is again the feminist echo chamber we're dealing with here. Let's continue.
The global market runs to 120 to 330 billion dollars, brother, depending on the research house definitions. Okay.
Now we can officially say that the Jews are behind fat people as well.
Okay,
There
let's
we
continue
fucking
with
go,
that,
bro.
ladies and gentlemen.
With Instagram, and then Facebook acquiring them. Look that people might think that obesity sparked because of COVID, but look, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the data.
Actually went down a little bit.
It was exactly.
Interestingly enough.
And you know that's a great point. Let's actually, why did it go down right after COVID? Let's take a look at that real quick. So it seems, Myron, that women have accepted to be obese and overweight, and they're happy, right? This is a screenshot from the Dove website currently, right now.
Oh wow.
This is right now because she's tattooed minority. You got to check all the diversity boxes.
Yep.
Right. Yeah,
That's crazy. That's a Dove picture right now.
That's on the Dove website right now. Our mission, redefining beauty. We want to change your genetic makeup as a man in your head. And I'm sorry to say this, but only women are stupid enough to believe this shit. I mean, this is retarded. This is peak retard.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. The likes of many corporations, such as Old Navy, such as Dove, such as Always, have literally told women, "Go ahead and be fat." Like you wouldn't see many of these commercials in Europe. Absolutely not. They do not want their populace to be obese and overweight, and the majority of their population be overweight and obese. But in the United States, it's clearly targeted. It's clearly advertised. It's given women license to be happy at any size sort of thing, and used to be frowned upon only 50, 60 years ago. But that such is the growth of the feminist diaspora, the feminist echo chamber. Let's continue.
Okay. So let's continue. Take a look at the next one here. Okay. But something happened, Myron. Did you notice in that dip what happened that the machine never planned for, or did they?
We'll see.
2021, a weekly injection arrives.
Okay, we're going to stop right here. The reason why I want to stop right here is because now everybody realizes now that there's an epidemic. So what is to be done about it? So uh, we're going to deal with this segment of things um, that really correlates to how the dating market is certainly skewed to the negative. There are now more health issues to deal with women being obese and dying earlier, and also dating habits being such as they are, and women from obese to fit all want the same sort of men. So it leaves a whole segment of men out of the dating market, and thus something had to be done. Something had to be done. So we're gonna leave that to tomorrow's show. That will be part two. So thank you very much for joining me here on Talk Talk Live. We've gone on 1 hour and 50 minutes. Shout out to the likes of MLD. He's done a fantastic amount of research here, and he's done fabulous work. We're going to continue from here tomorrow, where something had to change, or else we were going to reach the point of discontent, revolution, and rebellion. So we are now into part two of things. So we're gonna leave it here. We're gonna go back to things as of tomorrow on Talk Talk Live. But thank you very much for joining me here on Talk Talk Live tonight. And I'm gonna get back to the big camera. We'll be back tomorrow night with part two as of the show. Women getting larger and men are, yes indeed, and men are. Oh yeah, men are no longer dating. Men not dating anymore. Not dating anymore. Not not involved. Not intimate anymore. Not anything anymore. And we're gonna go into part two of that and what had to happen before things really fell off the rails. And there and the government, oh, well, they want they are trying to stop something that would literally throw everything off the rails, which is rebellion. So something had to change because the pendulum swung way too far to the other side. But shout out to MLD, shout out to Fresh and Fit for creating this show. I thought it was fascinating stuff, well researched material, and it just goes to show that uh, due to things such as social media, due to dating apps, but definitely due to the promotion of body positivity and literal overweight. Women are becoming more overweight and obese, and as a result, their dating habits are changing and affecting male intimacy and well intimacy levels, relationship levels, and the male loneliness epidemic only grows from there because all the same women want only a few grades of men. So therefore, social media, obesity, and also dating apps also conflict and all work together to create this epidemic we have today. And yeah, we're going to get into more of that tomorrow as to what had to be done in order to get themselves off of this runaway freight train. And we'll be talking about that tomorrow night on Talk Talk Live. So thank you very much for joining me. We're going to end things on Instagram right here. And sorry, there we go. And we're gonna get off YouTube. So thank you very much for joining me here on Talk Talk Live. And we're gonna have part two tomorrow of women, women getting larger and men not dating or being intimate. Tomorrow night on Talk Talk Live, and we look forward to seeing you then. And good night from Toronto. Thank you very much.